Hi, I am Manik and your educator. I'm once again welcome you back in channel Literature Study at Home. As you know, we were talking about literary classics of the world, and simultaneously we are going through the series of lecture on paper 1-2. So in between that, we are once again back with the literary classics. So in our today's discussion, we have a very eloquent, very pleasant book, a novel or a fiction. Okay, the fiction is not in the British literature, what you are reading now, but recently our syllabus got modified and there are some inclusion from the literature of the world. Okay, our literature is not now, it's limited. Okay, it is beyond that. So considering these topics, okay, we have a thought to bring in front of you a great classic. Okay, the novel's name is Things Fall Apart. Okay, it is written by a South African writer. Okay, and his name is Chinua Achebe. I think most of you have heard the name. And if we talk about the importance of the book, then it should be, it should be remembered by you all. Because there are plenty of themes in that particular book. You have heard of colonialism. You have heard of that racism. You have heard of imperialism. Okay, if you talk about that writing time, the book got published in 1958. And the scenario, the age, the time period that the book reveals was about nearly 1890s. So the pre-colonial time of the Africa, and especially that nice area where our Achebe was born. Okay, so you know that during that 1890s, there are plenty of writers from European colonizers who wrote about Africa, that is about nice area, and they wrote that keeping in their mind their place as a superior one and discussing Africa as a neglected one, as an untraveled world and as savages. So prior Achebe, there were no such writer from Africa talking about themselves, talking about their identity in their eyes. Before that, only the European classic writers they were writing about them. I think you have heard about the writing of Joseph Conrad. Joseph Conrad wrote that Heart of Darkness, and there we have plenty of information about Africa. But all these references are not drawn from the perspective of the African people. They were done from the European colonizers. Okay, not only that, there are plenty of writers they were talking about that. I think you have heard about that writer Rudyard Kipling. Yeah, Rudyard Kipling in his writing he talks about that Africans and other post-colonial countries that they are there to sophisticate them, to teach them, and he particularly called with the term it's white man's burden. Okay, white man's burden is to educate us. So similarly, being a country like that India, we are too colonized by the Britishers, and they took us as the as a subject to be taught and to be modified. Okay, so that kind of history was done at that particular time, and it is for the first time Chinua Achebe did this great work. Okay, by writing this, he created a path-breaking chance for the world. Okay, and you know that writer rewarded with several titles, and he is often been called by one of the prominent novelists of the African writer Nadine Gordimer. Around in 2017, she talked about Chinua Achebe that he was the father of the modern African novelist. Even the writer named Hilary Mantel, she also talked about in a high manner about Chinua Achebe. Even the budding writers like Chimamanda Ngozi, who wrote about the purple hibiscus and other books, she talked that whatever she has written, whatever she has understood about Africa, that was from that person, that Chinua Achebe. Not only that, his this book, very book that things fall apart, creates a thumping impression. Whenever when it was published around 1958, it got sell around 2,000 copies, and then in 1962 it got published in that in UK. Okay, and then the book sold around 10 million to 20 millions, and it will be a great pleasure to learn that the book was translated around 50 or more languages. Okay, so that's all about the statistics. But if you want to know about the history about the book, that the book was an influence from a writing that was written by W.B. Yeats. W.B. Yeats is a poem named "The Second Coming." From here, Achebe has taken the line. Okay, so the poem "The Second Coming" is a significant one, and it is in the collection of W.B. Yeats's poetry collection named "The Dial," and it was published around 1920s. Okay, and there Achebe talked about the then bleak reality of England. At that particular time, there was just the end of First World War in around 1918. Then the situation of the world was very much chaotic, and at that particular time, W.B. Yeats, with his philosophical views, he talked about a new coming, but that coming was not known to everybody. But just one thing they are wanting, that something new has to happen. So that's why they are talking about that second coming. That second coming is because of that chaotic state, and that chaotic state could not be gone through, could not be there till the end. So that's a hope that was thought by William Butler Yeats. Similarly, Chinua Achebe, being an African, being in a colonized country, he thought about that, and that's why Nigeria got its independence around 1960, and that's why his dream, his hope for liberty, gets done. So now let's talk about that particular writer, who is Chinua Achebe. Achebe, is a marker, very high place if we talk about that African literature. Okay, and what he was actually not. He was a poet, he was a novelist, he was a philosopher, he was a professor, he was a critic. Okay, he was born in Ogigi, Nigeria on 16th March 1930. His full name was Albert Chinua Lumaku Achebe. His parents converted into Christianity, and then they left behind their Igbo religion, that particular religion where the Nigerian people were there. And then, while in university, Achebe just dropped his first name Albert and then received his name as Chinua Achebe. Okay, and that man, that Achebe, was a true African, and being a true African, he bore it in his heart a deep anger. Okay, and that anger was against that European colonizers, and especially the white Britishers. Okay, and their racism, and this deep anger has completely evolved out in his first world famous debut novel. And that was the novel which we were now talking about. Okay, it is considered his masterpiece, but to publish it, Achebe had to suffer a lot. But after the publication, that all his toils become a kind of boon for his success. And then, mentioning his success, Achebe wrote his sequel of that Things Fall Apart, named No Longer At Ease in 1960. And then he wrote in 1964 that Arrow of God. Okay, both these books having similar kind of theme, and both these books delineating the clash between the traditional African ways of life and the religion and the social practices that was imposed by the Britishers. Apart from these, Achebe wrote on a fictional military coup in his novel that A Man of the People in 1966. It was also a great reading. And then, and during the civil wars of 1990s, Achebe and his family moved to England. Okay, and they settled there. And Achebe there wrote plenty of writings like essays, prose, poetry, etc. And all these writings were dominated with that particular theme, that civil war. Got it? Then, apart from this writing career, Achebe was a great role model for African people. And as a role model, he shared his views in various sections of life. And at that time, he was a professor of several universities, and he taught there, and he gave his faithful ideas and thinking about his ways of life and his aspirations for the people of the Africa, especially that Nigeria. And but that man, that Achebe, got partially paralyzed around 1990s by a car accident, and then he had to move to USA, United States of America, and for better take up, and he stayed there till 2013. Okay, and then on 21st of March, that great man, that Achebe left us, keeping all his thumping marks, what he had done among us at the age of 82. But I believe that that man has not died. That man's work, that man's the deeds are now still alive within us. So that's all about Chinua Achebe. Now let's talk about the novel. In the novel there are nearly 13 or 15 characters. Just go to that part. Okay, the central character is of course Okonkwo. Who is Okonkwo? Okonkwo is a sturdy man, and he is the, what can I say, the leader of that particular clan. Okay, in Bo religion there are nearly that particular time were 9 clans. Okay, and that particular clan is named Umofia. Okay, and that particular place, Okunku was a wrestler. Okay, he has the capacity of wrestling, and he is a best wrestler. And recently he defeated a great wrestler named Amalinje the cat. That Amalinje the cat, that person is remarked as the termed as the cat because he was so much skillful in wrestling that it is very hard to defeat. And he has the capacity of floating away or revolving away in such a manner that it is almost an impossible task for anybody to defeat him. But Okonko did it. Okay, in that book there are 3 separate parts. Okay, in the first part we have received the reference or discussion about the family of Okonko and the particular spectrum of that society, or what were there, and how does the family look like, the society look like, the religion, everything is delineated in the first part. The latter 2 part, that means part 2, is talking about that the incoming of European colonizers and their initiative to convert these Igbo people into Christianity. And then it's going on in the latter part, that is on part 3. Okay, but in part 3 there is some change. Okay, what is the change? That is the people of that Umofia now become very much conscious about their identity. Okay, and they are now going to fight back with the missionaries. But not all of them, but only one character, that is Okonko. So now let's come back to the story again. So that the wrestler, that means that Okonko had defeated that the cat. You know, Okonko always thought about himself in a high manner. He never accepted his father's attitude. His father is, according to him, very feminine. Okay, he never cared about his son. He never cared about his wife, and even that his father died without paying his debts. Okay, so it is a kind of uncharacteristic of a man. Okay, his father's name was Unaka. Okay, just remember the name Unaka, and he never tried to show his weakness. So that's why, to show his strength, his to show his his importance as a male member, as a true man of this clan, he always beat his wife, and to show that he never showed his emotion to anybody else. Okay, and at that particular time, their society is very much chaotic. One day, a boy, that means his name was Ikmefena, he was taken here because that boy's father, Ikmefena, belonged to another village, and that man killed a Umufian woman. So as a treaty, as a peace, so that's why the boy was taken here, and that boy was put under the care of a man, and that man was that Okonko. So that Ikmefuna, after reaching here, he became very much lonely. But the family was so caring, so close to him, that he became a member of that particular society. Even Okonko starts loving him. Okay, and Ikmefena started seeing that man, that Okonko, as his second father. Okay, but everything was going right. But someday, his that Okonko's son, that Naoi, he was very much, like his father's kind of character. What Unaka was there, Unaka's character was there. Similarly, the character of Naoi was like that. So Okonko does not like it. And then Okonko's daughter, and his name was that her name was like that of Ezinma. Ezinma was a very pleasant girl, falls ill, and that Okonko become very much conscious about her health, and he is thinking that about the girl's security. One day, it's a kind of a order from the clan to Okonko that the boy should be killed. But one of the eldest persons of that village, and his name was that Izuudu. So Izuudu told Okonko that you should not participate in that killing, because Ikmefuna is now your son-like figure, so you can't kill him. But Okonko, did not listen to that guy, that old guy Izuudu, and he reached there and he himself killed Ikmefuna. So it is a kind of guilt. That guilt remained within himself for a long day, and as a result, worst thing happened. That is, his daughter Ezinma also suffering for a great disease, and almost in a poison of die. A few days later, that old man Izuuju died, and in his funeral there was this tradition like that of firing gun. So while there, Okonko's gun missed that particular target, and it shot Izuudu's son, and that as a result, that particular guy died. So it was a kind of a very worst thing for our central character, and as a result, the clan decided to exile that Okonko, and Okonko was exiled for 7 years to a particular place that was named in Banta. Okay, so that's how the part one ended. And in part two, we have seen that European colonizers, the white Britishers, have now landed on that particular land, and they are now starting to convert the people from Igbo religion to the Christianity, and for that they are taking initiative from various way. You know, the imperialism, that means what we are talking about earlier, that was done by various way. And one such way is that of negotiating their religion and talking about their religion as an inferior one, and talking their religion, that is about European religions, in a superior manner, and getting that liberty, everything. It is one kind of process to get imperial power over one thing, that is the colonizing power over one particular society. Similarly, other is about military power, showing military power. You can also dominate one particular class of people. So here they use that missionary powers to get benefit of that particular place. Okay, so everything was now started outstanding. Even that the son of Okongo, the name was Naui, he also gets gets to that particular religion. Okay, you know, he has a kind of hatred to his father Okongo. Okay, like his grandfather, he then converted him into a Christian. Okay, and then around the last year of his exile, Okonko told his friend, that is his Oberika, told his yam field. Okay, you know that Okonko tended a field by farming yam, and his only aim was to earn money and to give his family a great and a very happy livelihood without any poverty. So that's why he was farming yam, and he told his friend Obedi to build two houses for them in Umofia, because they are now returned. They will return next year in that particular place. So that's at that particular point part 2 ended. Okay, now part 3. In part 3 starts with the incoming, or returning back of Okonko to that particular village, Okonko, Umofia. So now Okonko have returned back, and Okonko is very much perplexed seeing the particular state of that particular village, Umopia. It was now totally changed. The people are now not in Igbo religion. They are converted into Christianity. Though there are many persons still in Igbo identity, and among them, one of the missionaries, they tried harshly against an old man to become a Christian. Okay, so in that manner, Okonko gets enriched, and along with his people, they burned a convent that was built by that Britishers, and as a result, the commissioners, they came, and they captured them to give them punishment. And he also told about that his lower positional police officer to treat the clan leader, that is Okonko, with respect, but that man did not show any kind of respect. Rather, they treat them very humiliatingly, and even they shaved their head, and they tried them very roughly. And when they free from that classes, then they are now very much enriched, and they started meeting with each other, and they are in a mood to fight back to that with that missionaries, and they were planning for a bigger fight. So while they were meeting with one another, one day one missionary barred them. They tried to dismantle their meeting. So Okonko gets enraged, and he beheaded one of the missionaries. And at that particular time, all his own people, like his Igbo people, could have stood in front or beside Okonko, but at that particular point, they left Okonko alone, and they are very much frightened. And at that point, Okonko believed that no, it is my futile attempt to fight for these people. I think that these people are very much like a cowardice kind of people. They can't stand for themselves. They can't stand for their own liberty. So, feeling this, Okunko returned back his house, and there he hanged himself. Okay, and he died. So it's a kind of bad thing for his community, because in Igbo communities it is a very much worst thing to commit suicide. But according to the British commissioners, Okonko did a great, and he just deviated from the actual stream which the all the Igbo people, all the Umo people, Umufian people are doing. So it is a kind of a fraud-breaking one, and this is the actual storyline. This is the brief storyline of that. Things fall apart. Okay, I suggest you to go to the market to bring that book and read by yourself. And if have still that laziness, then go for internet to read out the summaries from Spark Notes or maybe from Wikipedia. Then you will have the greater idea than this. Thank you. Have a great day.